Well, I ball teased Batman at the top of this, but just before we get into Batman, one interesting little bit of streaming news. Actually, well, kind of streaming. It's streaming in America. I guess you would call it Sky here. I have some news on The Last of Us Part 2, AJ, which
Nice.
is always exciting. The Last of Us, the series Part 2, not obviously the game. So here's the full story. The Last of Us Season 2 is ready to go, quote, as soon as the strikes end. It's all planned out. The Last of Us 2 showrunner has confirmed that work will be able to start on the second season of the post-apocalyptic series as soon as the ongoing actors and writers strikes come to an end. We've outlined all of Season 2 and we're ready to go as soon as the strike ends, Neil Druckmann said in a new interview with EW. WGA and SAG-AFTRA, the Hollywood Writing and Acting Unions, have been on strike since May and July, respectively, over fights for fairer pay and the use of AI. The show's first season led the way with nominations for this year's Emmys, earning a total of 25. This includes Outstanding Drama Series and an acting nod for Joel actor Pedro Pascal. It also set records for HBO and HBO Max with its viewership figures. Over the course of its first 6 episodes, it averaged 30.4 million viewers per episode, the highest average figure since Game of Thrones Season 7 aired in 2017. There will be a time jump between Season 1 and 2, in line with the one between 2 installments of the game source material, and we'll see the introduction of a new character from the games. Abby. Co-showrunner Craig Mazin recently confirmed that she's already been cast, but the name of the actor is still being kept under wraps. The Last of Us Season 2 doesn't have a release date yet. While we wait for the next installment of the show to arrive on the small screen, check out our picks for the other best TV shows on their way in 2023 and beyond. And you can go and find that over at Total Film. Now, AJ, I just before put you vertical, how clued up are you on what goes down in The Last of Us Part 2, the game?
No, I've kind of abstained because The Last of Us is a game that I want to play for. Then obviously give the TV series a shot, then move on to part 2. Might play both games first. Time
So
just
you
isn't on
haven't
my
seen
side.
the TV show, yeah?
No, haven't touched it because I wanted to play the game first.
Sure. No, okay, that's a good shout. Okay. Prioritize the living hell out of that. Because it's no genuinely that is The Last of Us 1
Do
and
you want to
2.
go vertical with what you're saying? Or?
The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 as video games are the greatest narratives ever put to video game. I'm not saying they're the biggest stories. I'm not saying they're the best stories, because what is best story? It's all subjective at the end of the day. But from an objective standpoint of how a story is constructed, how characters interact with each other and inhabit the world in which they are written, and how they develop and how you grow to love them, hate them, the themes of power, of fear, of hate that run through The Last of Us, they basically didn't need to change anything for the TV show, such as the quality of the writing in The Last of Us game series. Yes, they changed some set pieces because they ultimately, and from a game perspective, they were necessary. From a narrative story perspective, there were moments of the game where obviously the narrative slowed down, which you can't do in a TV show or movie. But it's pretty much perfect writing.
Am I right?
Go on.
Sorry to cut you. Am I right in saying this was the one that when we were doing top 10 movies of a certain year, this was the okay?
Yeah, this is exactly it. Yeah, The Last of Us 2, the narrative in it is so good and so moving and so powerful that some genius took all of the cutscenes from the game and put it online as like an extended movie. And it was the best thing. It was one of the top 10 movies that I'd seen that year. That's how good it was. And yeah, if you've played The Last of Us Part 2 and you've just heard that Abby's been cast and is going to feature, you know what's coming. You know what comes with Abby.
Here's my yeah. It's a question, and this is based on my ignorance, so it may be the most redundant vertical because it might not ever make it to TikTok, and there might be comments below of what you're talking about. I'm slightly concerned of how much work has been going on during a strike. That's my thing. Because if it was ready to go, it was ready to go before. But for the announcement to come out now, I'm just hoping that people aren't violating the terms of a strike in order of casting is different. You could cast someone because it's an idea. I could contact you about when it's over. I think you're perfect. But what other works have these studios been up to? Now I understand it's the writers and actors, and other people still get on with their work. But what is going on? That this is news that has just released now. Do you
Okay,
get where I'm going with this?
I do. It's a good question. This is pure speculation on my part because that's a damn good question. But you got to remember one thing: Neil Druckmann, one of the showrunners, is first and foremost the godfather of The Last of Us. He designed those two games. He is a game developer first and a showrunner second. He ain't part of the writers union, to my knowledge. He can write whatever the hell he wants, especially when it's his own established and already written IP. But AJ, how do you feel in general about this announcement that The Last of Us season 2 is coming?
Listen, overall, there is excitement because good TV, irrelevant of the time that you catch it, is there. I love to hear a buzz. I love to hear a buzz. I've just finished The Office this year. Do you know what I mean? It's not when you see it; it's the chance of seeing it. I finished The Big Bang Theory late. Now I know these are sitcoms that I'm talking about, but good TV is something to be watched. I jumped on the bandwagon for Game of Thrones just at the last minute and caught it the end, literally a week after everyone. There is a buzz around this TV show. I'm aware of people talking about how good this TV series was. So yes, I haven't seen it for my own reasons, but the fact that there's a buzz is something that you can look forward to on your to watch list when you got some downtime. So for that, I'm all over it. Like for that, I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's a sensational bit of TV. It really, really is. I can't wait, to be honest. And as you said, good TV is good TV. HBO is usually the best TV out there. There's not many things that come close to a really, really well-made HBO production. Oh, I just know what's coming, and I don't know if I can live it again. It's so brutal what happens in The Last of Us 2. It's literally it's so hard. There are so many moments in that game where you're like, I never want to see that again. And
Yet
now
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna have
watch it.
to do it in not just a game format.
Nice.
Oh my god. Oh, so exciting. Guys, what do you all think of The Last of Us season 2? Are you excited? Let us know down below. And hey, be nice. No spoilers for the narrative in the comments. Don't be douchebags. Spoiler free, please. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Um, how's that for a tangent?